It's not time to go home yet. Just stay with me for a moment. I never thought I'd find what I was looking for, but this feeling can't afford to leave. Came here with a 20 in my pocket. Didn't want to stay too long. I knew that I would drop it. Check myself out in the reflection of a liquor bottle. Saw a real sad girl, a big pill to swallow. Yeah, but when you took my hand, walked me over to the dance floor. Put on a smile, never knew I had before. You said it's not time to go home yet. Just stay with me for a moment. Don't turn around, it's only the two of us. Just stay with me for a moment. I know I'm bound to ruin it, so just stay here. Just a moment. As long as this place is open, I'll keep you close, and we'll hold on to this moment. You hold me, feels like forever. Are you here to find forever? I will never know, cause I'm scared to take you home. When you hit me on my phone, but I guess I'll never know. They turn the volume up when we're talking. The music playing louder, not planning on stopping. It's getting pretty late, I don't even know your name, but I'm living in the moment, I want you to stay. Ooh, it's been a real bad vibe. Came in with my head down, anxiety high. Just about to leave, was about to leave. I'm so happy you noticed me. But when you took my hand, walked me over to the dance floor. I put on a smile, never knew I had before. You said it's not time to go home yet. Stay with me for a moment. Don't turn around, it's only the two of us. Just stay with me for a moment. I know I'm bound to ruin it, so just stay here. Stay with me for a moment. Please make a move, cause I don't have the courage. Don't wanna be wondering what could have been in the morning. Said it's not time to go home yet. Just stay with me for a moment. It's not time to go home yet. Go home yet. Don't go home yet. Go home yet. Just stay with me for a moment.
Hello and welcome everybody to Record Label Boss with your boy Avi on the microphone. I hope you're having a great week, and it's RPAN Wednesday. So today we're on RPAN. So hello RPAN, and hello everybody who is joining us on Reddit there, and hello everybody who's joining us on various different other channels. As you know, this is a show where you get to listen and watch me do my work essentially. So we're going to be reviewing a bunch of international artists that have sent us their musical demos for our label's consideration. We're going to listen to it together. We're going to talk about it, and then we're going to invite the best ones to have a chit chat with us. I also got in the studio here Lottie. Not sure if she's going to turn on the camera today, but hello, how you doing? I'm going to say hi to Foxy, who's there on Discord. If you want to join us on Discord, you can do that too. That's discord.gg/record label. discord.gg/CZR. Oh, fucking so bad with announcing everything here. And of course, as always, you can see what I'm typing up here, and we're going to be going through the songs together. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask any questions that you might have. I'll answer them all, and I'll hope you have a great time. And we're gonna go to the first track for today. That's Emily Landry with Chanel. Let's see what's coming on there. bit quiet, isn't it? Aha, somebody turned to you. Oh my god. Somebody who's not me changed the volume on the somewhere they shouldn't. Hey Meg, how you doing? Chanel, bonjour. This is very good. In this file you will find my press release, my press photos and the song. Very good. That's how you do it. Yep. If you want to send somebody something, it's always cool to give them a drive folder where they can download the song, one of your press pictures, and some other stuff that you want them to know about you, you know. It doesn't cost anything, and they might download it and like it. You never know. A lot of people just send some kind of link. Here's the link to my Spotify. Fuck off, you know? I don't know. That is like... By the way, that's what I do when I send our artists' music out to DJs and radio stations, etc. I always send them a nice message with a huge button. Go to our master drive. Press release is there. Picture is there. Song is there. WAV file of the song is there for our radio friends. And everything you need is in this directory. Just grab it and go. And people do, you know? Because you would be surprised how many people, like labels, send stuff to a radio station and don't include all the resources, you know? And since you're sending to various people, thank you for taking my energy, Foxy and Reddit. You want them to have everything about the song, about your label, about possibly the album of the artist, so that they have an easy time writing an article, making a blog, adding it to their DJ set in various formats, you know. You want to make things easy for people that you're trying to get placed with. And if it's not easy, then a lot of them are just not going to bother because that's how it is, you know. So if you want to get placements with your music, then you should totally make it easy for people to like you and your music. It's a really cute song. Not sure if it's a smasher. But it wasn't bad. I didn't turn it off. I wouldn't. I'm gonna give her positive feedback because I'm gonna share it on a playlist. I'm gonna get in touch with her. That's what it is. Good song, exclamation mark. Wrong language. Gökste Nordics mission. Oh my god. Yeah. Good song, exclamation mark. Send us an email to... Oh, I can't do that because people can see that. Send us an email to IKEA. Send us an email to IKEA. That is so interesting. Meow. No. When my cat is here, and he wants to come up, and essentially walk around on this. Yeah. Okay. You know what we're not going to do this time? We're not going to do the tail everywhere and the cat everywhere. Because you never want to, be on the stream. You just want to be bothersome. Okay, go ahead. Not today, my man. He likes to sit on stuff. He likes to sit like on the buttons and on the cables. And he wants to like claw the cables and bite the cables because it's great fun when he gets to touch the cables and do all that kind of stuff, you know. But it's like a little bit of a problem to do that, you know. We want the cat. Cat. Is it going to be an international day of protest because the cat isn't coming? Yeah, so now I don't know how to do this because usually nobody was able to see this, but now everybody sees this. There's a little bit of a problem. What are you doing up here again? You're starting to annoy me. He's back. Okay, he's back right in the same spot he was before. I guess this is the persistence of cats. And then what he does is he puts his tail on my mouse, and then he's annoyed when I'm moving the mouse because it's the space for his tail now. Okay. This, I swear to God, this cat. And we can have a chat, full stop. All the best and cheers, exclamation mark. What are you... Aha, now he's trying to pull out some... All right. Okay, he's yanking... Nah! He's yanking out the hub now. Okay, this guy here, he's gonna go bye-byes. You're gonna go bye-byes, okay? He's like clawing my USB hub where everything is connected. Because he can't get to the hub from below, you know? And all the cables are in it and he really likes it there. And now he's scratching it from below. All right. I don't know what's his deal today. He's not happy. He's in some kind of special mood today. Some kind of special mood he's got there. That's right. All right. Deep Dark Sleep is the next one. Let's hear it. From Melanie McLaren. Today seems to be the day of the girls with the guitars. A haunting, meditative, modern folk song, blah blah blah, kill my time. Lullaby folk song. I get this a lot. Singing girl and her guitar. We will protest if Ringo is not on the stream. Okay. Oh, he's totally allowed to be on the stream, just when he's literally biting and clawing my plugs. That's not good, because if something gets unplugged in the studio, then I'm not going to be happy. By the way, we have a chat gathering bot, so if you want your chat to appear, you can join us on Discord, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, DLive, Trovo, and many other channels. I think the only channel we're not gathering, and I'm still kicking out here, is Reddit, because we don't have a chat bot for Reddit. Okay, I'm gonna say no to this. It's just simply too simple. Simply too simple, not bad, but simple. Decent effort, exclamation mark. Okay track, that is nice and groovy, but remains a little bit too simplistic over the entirety of it. Full stop. All the best, and Cheers! Exclamation mark.
Night gets long till a nightingale song cuts through the
I get what she's trying to do, but it's just a little bit too much, you know. And the next one is Will Wallace and Mind Blown. Okay, let's hear it. Hi, Count Zero Records. I'm reaching out to share my new track, Mind Blown, that releases on 10th of February. Very good. You sent it to us before. I checked out your profile and I thought it could fit. Good. Love your support in sharing the track. That's not what we do. We're not a playlister with the world on its release. We're not necessarily somebody to share music, you know. We're more a curator of music. Let's hear.
oh, mama, guess I should have known. No surprise, now my mind is blown. Oh, mama, guess I should have known. No surprise, now my mind is blown.
Headphones connected. Okay. Now that shit starts again. So far, it's okay. It's not like yay, but it's okay, I guess. Okay, it remains a little bit intro-ish with no real chorus that I could tell here. Certainly not a drop. Kind of like difficult for a... It's not bad, but I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no, even though it's really not bad. Hello, Will! Exclamation mark. Pretty cool song, and I would like to hear more from you in the future. Full stop. If you want to check out our homepage and resources, we also have a Discord server where you can come and hang out with us. Full stop. All the best and cheers! Exclamation mark. That's right, because I think we said that we were gonna invite the people to the Discord server that are good enough that we believe sorry, that we believe that soon in the future they're gonna be good enough to, you know, be somebody. And the other people we will invite to a Zoom call directly. Rolling Stones 1000 says you need a melody and then you need a chorus. That's right, you need both. Alrighty, Matt Sanchez with Tonight. Matt Sanchez is a rapper, singer, songwriter, model, and actor. He's Egyptian, Puerto Rican, and Haitian. What the?
Do you ever feel like screaming? Like out loud?
He is everything and does everything. That is very interesting. And you should not make music videos with long intros that nobody cares about. Holy Christ, you're literally screaming in my ears. Oh my God. And the screaming is overdriven.
We're gonna party and we're never stopping, even if we want it.
Somewhat simple music, but okay for a beginning.
Take your problems and get them over. No more worry, no more worry. Throw your hands in the air, wave them like you don't care. Live your life with no fear, 'cause tonight is tonight, throw your hands in the air. Wave them like we don't care. Live your life with no fear. Cause tonight is your night.
So I feel like this guy comes from a family that has money, which is good. He wrote a little bit about his stuff, and I've been watching the music video, and it's fairly professionally made. And he's saying that his single is approaching 1 million views on YouTube, and that only happens if you do advertisement for it. So there's definitely some money behind his kid. And he's modeling? Oh man. Alright, I'm gonna say yes because, you know, money behind somebody is generally not a bad idea. Production is pretty good. Alright, I'm gonna add it to link the track or the album cover, HD the press release, safe as default. No, I need a freaking email from the person, that's what I need. Good song, exclamation mark. Oh, it's gonna print Send us an email to That's the second approve for today, isn't it? Usually I go days without any approves. That's really interesting. And we can have a chat. Full stop. All the best and cheers! Exclamation mark. And that is a, you know, our approves are very low key. Let's have a chat, you know. Well produced video. And I'm like a million % sure that he didn't make this music. Okay, so if you're somebody like Adam Levine, like from Maroon 5, and you have parents that will just pay for everything you do until you become famous, until you can sing good enough, that's also okay, you know. One way to be a musician is to have somebody else throw a lot of money at it. Throwing money at it actually works, you know. And I read an article recently where they said that music is quickly becoming a rich kid's game because nowadays with incomes for artists like dwindling, you can hardly survive as an artist anymore. And the only people of being able to afford consistently to do music and not be successful for years are mostly rich people. So this is why you have so many rich kids in the Billboard now, and it's really weird times. It's not the best artist anymore. It's the guy who has the money. All right. Next one is Cloud9 Basement. Hip hop rap.
Yeah. If you ever diss me, I can't hang with you. And those who ever miss me, they can't stand the truth. Just cause you fuck your chick don't mean I bang her too. But I might hit her, at least kick it like a kangaroo. If you on my mind and you in my sight, which means you in my scope like what I'm aiming through.
Oh man.
I won't run from problems, that's what lames will do. I never been no lame because I'm way too cool. It's like the bottom of the ninth in the game where these chicks switch hitting, but the pitch still missing the plate. But I got them like time when they swinging foul lines like a chick taking hits to the face. Calling me a bully cause I speak the truth so fully they confuse them what is real and what's fake. Hey, look. She asking, can you hold me, babe? I love you, what she told me. I can't tell if it's real love or it's hate. I used to wake up for the bus around 6. Thought life was tough, I had it rough as a kid, but looking back, it wasn't much to admit. Now it's all water and mud under the bridge. It is what it is.
And I got a question here. Hey, from Creepy Ape. Welcome back, my man.
I never thought I'd end up in these situations.
And I got some from Polydeuce as well. Wow. So, okay, Creepy Ape is asking, have you considered doing a stream reviewing music on the charts? I wouldn't be able to do that because I would get copyright problems with playing the music of other people. I could, because I'm a registered DJ, I could do it. And I did actually consider it. And if you're interested in it, Creepy, then, you know, join us on the Discord and let's work out a format. Maybe we should do, like, I don't know, Count Zero Records reviews chart music or something. Rolling Stones is funny. Yeah, I know. Okay, hold on. Let me give this feedback. Decent effort! Exclamation mark. Okay, track that has a good flow but stays a little bit monotonous over its entirety. Full stop. All the best and cheers! Exclamation mark. And then we're gonna go to Poli, who's one of the artists on our label, and he sends me, hey Avio, it's been a minute. Hope you're well. I am. Record is done. I am. Yes, very nice. I was about to send it to you, but it now features Ken Tucker. Very good. So I had to mix those tracks as well. I haven't been in the chat lately because my phone's stream loads crappy. Yes, the backdrop you have is pretty cool. Thanks so much, Poli. Obviously, that's for the people that don't know. It's Brandon Scioto, who we signed some time ago, and he's been working on his first album. And it's always nice when recording is done, and I'm about to hear some new music. So you know, it's gonna be great. I hope it's gonna be great. I hope I don't have to criticize it. But we will see. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be good, especially together with Ken, who has a lot of experience in songwriting. Ken usually doesn't make shitty songs. Sometimes Ken makes songs that generally don't do well in the greater public, but that's just because tastes have shifted. You know, since Ken was young, he still makes a very solid sound. And I like all of Ken's stuff, but it's just not mainstream anymore, you know. I mean, I don't think blues was ever mainstream, you know. But still, you know. Okay. Boing, boing, boing. I'm trying to send the feedback. I hate... Did I tell you that I hate websites where they have these, like, shitty-ass pop-ups that they made with JavaScript, and then something pops up and something else pops up, and then you have to enter the text in the pop-up, but if you click beside the pop-up will disappear, and so will your entered text, and then sometimes the button on the pop-up doesn't work, and you can't reload the page, because if you do, your text is gone. Dumb as shit. I hate that. I really hate that. I hate that so much. I cannot say how much I hate it when people do these pop-up crap. Right. Now I'm going to have to reload it. Now it's just completely gone. Are you kidding me? Okay. Oh, now the button will work. Thank you. You know, if you're making a review website where you want people to review stuff, things like when I click the button, the review save should really work. Totally work. By the way, we're working on our own review site. It's called demosubmission.com. If you want to submit your demo, you can either go to our Discord server. That's discord.gg/CZR. Or you can go to demosubmission.com. I had a brain fart there. I was like, what? All right, here. I'll put it up here. Send us your demosubmission.com and Discord GCCR. Okay. Next one is Peter Lake. Haven't I heard something from Peter? Yep. Right. He has sent me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks. That guy must love me. What am I telling this guy that he keeps sending me stuff? Peter Lake. Okay. Ghosts in Me. Bum, 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 bum. Surpassing 10 million streams in Spotify. I'm always so weirded out when people are writing me these extreme success stories to where they're like, I have 10 million streams. I know how much it costs to buy 10 million streams, and it's not a lot of money. So I think a lot of people are faking it. But so this guy's saying here, and I believe him, Peter Lake. Let's listen to his song, Ghosts in Me. After surpassing 10 million Spotify streams in 21 and over 8 million YouTube views, Lake, known for his unconventional blending of genres, is gearing up.
It's summertime and you laugh. Let's not stay apart. Let's go away. You left your sunglasses, then you float away.
Oh yeah, that was that guy to where the story didn't match the music at all.
Hold your hand. It moves right through. You are ghosts in me. I feel you in my bones.
Because his singing is actually
Nothing more to see.
really bad. So how the fuck are you having 10 million streams? I mean, I know how you have 10 million streams.
You feel so real. What did you know?
Oh my fucking.
You feel so real. Where did you go?
So if somebody comes to me and says they have like 20 million streams and they just literally cannot hit any note, I'm not sure. How can it be that you have 20 million streams but you can literally not sing and hit a single note? Creepy Ape says, as a record label, how do you ignore your personal preferences and promote music which you may personally dislike but will be commercially successful? That's a very good question, Creepy. I actually thought that I would never have to do that because I originally planned this label to be an electronic music and hip-hop label. And these are the categories that I'm very comfortable with because I've been listening to both of these genres for a very long time. I was, in fact, there at the inception of both of these genres. And then it actually happened to me that artists came to us that were from completely different genres and said, I have this music and I want to be on your label. And I listened to it and I was like, wow, that's actually pretty damn good. And so I said, what am I going to do? Am I going to say no to a great artist who is nice? You talk on the phone, they're really nice. They have great experience. They might not be the most famous person, but they're a solid musician, solid guy, made a lot of songs, can perform upwards of 70, 80, 90, 100 songs live without anything. Just really solid people. And then you have some 16-year-olds who are struggling to get their beat in sync. And you're like, why should I not take these people who are good, but just outside of my genre? And so I did. I started signing people outside of the genre, and then many more from outside of the genre came. And I was like, why are you all coming to me? And they're like, yeah, because we hear such good things about you, and you're such a great guy, and you're doing a great label. And we know it's not really, our genre, but but the representation that we get from the label is more important than the genre that the label mostly has. And that was very interesting to me. And the reason, and to come back to the question, the reason how I can take my personality out is that I try to judge the music on its bones. Is it in sync? Is it in key? Is the person singing right? Is he out of breath? Is he what kind of? I do like a technical judgment of stuff, because I believe that somebody who is technically good, that's the first stuff that I check, and then the second thing I check is there a melody? I don't have to particularly like it or anything like that, but is there the classical song structure that you would see in a successful song? Is there, an intro, a verse, a chorus, a verse, a chorus, a bridge? Does the song have structure? Does the song have melody? And you can check all these things without liking it or being something that you wouldn't listen to privately, but you can say, this song is well crafted. You might not connect with the artist on a "that's what I love" basis, but you can acknowledge the craft that they have, and this is what I do. And when somebody's just really well, then that's good. And Polly says, I missed a lot of that response. Yeah, Karen isn't all over there, just featured here and there. I'll get the phone situation sorted soon. Okay. So yeah, and of course, me as a person, I have always listened to disco, I listened to classical music, I listened to electronic music and hip hop. Back then, that was something that only, idiots did. I listened to 60s, 70s, 50s music, 30s music, 20s music, all kinds of music. I was always somebody who was pushing the boundaries of what they hear themselves, and I would always describe myself as a musical generalist. So in a sense, it kind of like came together. And once I decided to take up dedicated people that were strongly going like blues, country, Americana, the floodgates were essentially open, because if you're doing that kind of crossover and you're doing electronic music and hip hop to country, why would you not take something else? And then came R&B, then came metal and everything else, and people are always so singer-songwriter, lots of singer-songwriter stuff, and then people are always so weirded out that I mean, like the artists, oh, you have these kind of people on your label, you have these kind of people on your label. We thought you would like heavy metal, you're like singer-songwriter label, and I was like, no. But I think it's great, because that way the label has more diversity. People can collaborate a little bit cross-genre. Because, I mean, if one rapper collaborates with another rapper, yeah, I mean, how exciting is that? Yay! It's like two of the same people on the track. It's okay, I do want to do collabs with CI and with Muty and other people that do EDM. But probably what I like the best in terms of collabs so far is Ken Tucker and Cygnus. Cygnus, obviously, a Viking metal band, and Ken is a blues and country Americana person. And they made a great... So Cygnus covered one of his songs, but he's also in the track. So Brother Whiskey, which is Cygnus and Ken Tucker, I think turned out to be fantastic. And there's a lot to learn in there. To me, that if you bring people together, what can be created is more than the parts. And I think that's the new idea that I have for us. Make it more than the sum of its parts. And Creepy says, if you don't know how much about a particular genre, you have other people in your organization who can guide you. By now, I do. In the beginning, I didn't. In the beginning, I just, I'm like, this guy sounds good. Let's get him. Now I have people that are dedicated, very strong in singer-songwriter, very strong in country blues, very strong in metal and rock, just R&B, rap, hip hop, EDM. So by now we have seasoned artists in just about every genre, main genre, not subgenre, you know, screaming death metal, punk, trash. No, not like that. But in the general genres, we have a lot of people now that could help me and that I could ask, and I sometimes do ask. Like, I have a lot of problems with like metal vocals. Like, what's a good growl? What is good growling? What is a great metal vocal? That is really not that obvious to me. Sometimes I think that, you know, what I listen to in hip hop is kind of like super shitty. And then I ask CI and he's like, yeah, that's what kids nowadays like. And I'm like, that sounds really shitty. And then he's like, yeah, it sounds shitty to me and you, but it's what people now like. They're not like us, you know. We grew up in the 80s with like NWA and stuff. And it's just not that anymore. So not only do you have this genre border, you also have this age border, because as you become more important in a company and you become a manager, eventually maybe you're an owner, you also get older and you get more disconnected with the young people and what they like. And a lot of young people is what drives sales. And all of a sudden you like music that actually isn't popular anymore. And then that is also a challenge. So picking the right people is really, really crucial, because quite literally your livelihood depends on it. If you pick the wrong artists, you as a label are gonna have a problem. So if you pick the wrong guys and invest a lot of money in them and nothing comes of it, then you're gonna be broke. And then you're gonna not have a label anymore. So it's difficult. To say that it would be easy would be a lie. Unless you're like super rich or famous already, then people don't give a shit. They just like, yeah, Kanye's on the track, let's go, you know? Okay. Rolling Stones 1000 says, if you have a lot of genres on your label, then you cannot sell records in many styles. I'm not sure what you mean by that. You cannot sell records in many styles? No, you can if you have multiple genres. For example, we are like the antithesis to Spinnin' Records. Spinnin' has an extremely narrow genre focus that is essentially focused on one type of EDM. They have like a razor sharp focus and they're making a lot of money with it, because they're focusing on whatever is currently in. They're 100% laser focusing on the current trend. They will kick and wash off everything else other than the stuff that's currently in, and they will only hammer that. Which means that there's absolutely no artistic component there whatsoever, because the only thing you're allowed to do on that label is what currently sells in a very small subset of EDM. So you're not really an artist, you're a front man of a certain group of producers that will produce that kind of very focused music, and you get to represent it internationally and be kind of like an actor or something. And we are an artistic label, which means that with us, people actually make the music themselves, and we don't tell them what to do. They're free to do anything. So people with us are actually still creating music, whereas people on other labels, like the aforementioned, are mostly actors. Let's say representatives. Let's not say actors. Representatives of music that somebody else has made because they know it currently sells, and they need a young boy to be the face of that music, and that boy is gonna do the, hey, wave your hands up in the air, wave him like you just don't care. It's gonna be that, yeah. Creepy Ape says, has anyone ever sent in a track which made you think, wow, that sucks, but it would make a great song for a commercial? Wow, that is a very specific question. I think the best way that I could answer would be that I have been sent songs that are extremely weird. But people kind of want to listen to it because they're extremely hilarious or weird or freaking crazy, and you just don't know what to think. You know, some girl singing about shaking her booty in the weirdest, funniest, and most interesting way that you could possibly think of, or a guy making funny raps or something like that. There's been these songs that are on the border between genius and insanity. There are not many, maybe 5 or so I've heard in the 3 years that I'm doing this live now. But these borderline songs are like, you're like, wow, it's like a train wreck happening. It's crazy, but I can't stop watching, you know? And this is it, you know? And for a commercial, mostly people don't really want songs. For a commercial, people usually want like background music. Not necessarily songs, and artists are usually reluctant to give a song to a commercial because then you're always going to be the Toyota guy or the boats guy, you know? So unless it's a very big placement, unless you, I don't know, your song gets taken for a new campaign by McDonald's or something and they're going to pay you millions for it, people usually, and advertisers usually either want famous songs that people know, or songs that sound like songs that people know. They don't necessarily, advertisers are usually not like experimental people that really go out there and say, oh, I would want to experiment and bring in that artist and see what he has to do. They're usually pretty sure what they want, what kind of sound that they want for their, I don't know, car commercial or whatnot. It should be techno, it should be EDM, or it should be in the middle between techno and EDM. It should be upbeat. It should be 126 BPM. It should be this. It should be that. You know, you're usually getting incredibly specific requirements. So the instances where your song just randomly gets picked up for a big commercial are very few and far in between. It's of course a big thing, you know, but can you name an artist who has been terribly mismanaged by his or her label? 99% of the artists. I don't know an artist who has been on a label who hasn't been mismanaged before. Literally every single person. The music industry is 99.9% fake and 99.9% evil. So I don't know. Take a piss and you'll hit somebody who was cheated. It will be everybody. If they're long enough in the business, they will have had mismanagement, cheating, all kinds of stuff. It's the norm. It's not the exception by far. So the only people you won't find that haven't been mismanaged are people that haven't been managed. And then they have been mismanaged by themselves or their mother, etc., you know, because artist management is really difficult, and you have to be connected or you're not really managing an artist. This idea that you would, you know, I don't know, take their calls and organize some kind of stuff for them, that doesn't really work. The way that things work is that you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. Can you make a collab for this guy? Can you make a festival appearance for this guy? And this goes with your personal connections. And it doesn't matter if your mother is really nice. If she doesn't have personal connections, she's not going to get you anywhere. And this is what a lot of artists underestimate, because they believe management means like reading the artist's emails and stuff, but it's totally not that. I never read an email of any of my artists, and I couldn't care less. That is 100% not what anything is about. So, if I were to name somebody who was horribly mismanaged, I don't know. It's so many. It's essentially everybody. Yeah, I'm not gonna say a name because it's everybody. It's mostly everybody. Some people were treated worse than others, but I think that somebody who's very close in spirit to me, Avicii, Tim Bergling, was driven into suicide by his label and his management company. It was very well known that Tim had a history of depression and had massive problems with his depression. He was in the hospital multiple times on tour. They always pumped him full of drugs and sent him back out. And one day he just fucking burned out. He went home. It took some while, and then he killed himself. And you could tell that they wanted to finish as many tours as they could, and that they really didn't give a shit about anything. And I think the most tragic cases are when management kills an artist, because they will kill you. They literally do not give any shit about you as a person. It's all about the money, you know? It's 99% business, 1% show. Ain't no love in this game because it's all about the dough, you know? That's what Jay-Z said, and it's true. But he said it's 90% business, 10% show. But I think it's 99% business, 1% show. So I think these are the worst cases of mismanagement, is when you know that the artist has an addiction problem. You know the artist has a suicide depression problem, and you're actively pushing them into a direction to where you know that their problems are getting worse, which means you're effectively ruining their life, so you can go on with your tour and make money. And I think that is the most evil form of mismanagement, because it actually kills people. Hey, Devon, you were on my 3D printing stream. That is so awesome. Thanks so much. Yeah, dude, I love 3D printing. And the Creepy Ape. Yeah, wow, didn't know that about Avicii. Yeah. He was like, I thought he was so great. You know, he had these wonderful melodies together with EDM. A lot of people said he was cheesy and stuff. I really liked him. I never met him. I don't know him personally. But he died because of his management. I have no doubt in my mind about that. And this is the worst kind of shit you can do to your artist. Kill him. I mean, not personally, of course, but let your greed kill them. What's worse, you know? I mean, Taylor Swift's all around like, Scooter Brown stole my shit, you know? Motherfucker, you signed the contract. And before you signed it, your parents signed it. And after you were famous, you were like, now I want my shit back. I have absolutely no respect for that, and I have no understanding for that. Because these people signed contracts knowing full well what these contracts meant. But they were nobodies, so they were happy to sign it. That is one thing, you know? And then they're like crying about their master rights because now they're famous and they want all of the money. Oh, these songs are my babies, so fuck off. You know? So this fake artist whining because they want to extract more money, because of course they have been short-charged by their management company because they said you're going to sign for 15 years and everything you do is ours. Horrible conditions, but your daddy signed them after going through them with a lawyer. And he said, I'm going to sell my daughter because I don't give a fuck. So you know, there's that. And then there's people who are legit, you know, killed by their management, and nobody talks about it. So everybody's talking about the whiny Taylor Swift who wants her rights back so she can make more money, but very few people talk about how who was touring Avicii. I don't know who it was, but it was one of the big ones. How they killed him. You know, too much of a hot topic. And of course he's dead, so he cannot, you know, he cannot advocate for himself anymore. They're like, yeah, we didn't do it. We had a doctor on site all the time. Yeah, and the doctor gave him fucking shots so he could go, you know. They gave him a bunch of vitamin shots and other shots so that he could, you know, defeat his pain and get over his depressive state and perform. And I think therein lies a difference. Taking advantage of somebody, which is what Scooter Braun definitely did with Taylor Swift, is one thing. It's evil. It's not okay, but it's ethical. You know, it's you know, but killing somebody is like on a different scale. You know, it's like a different scale. And Creepy Ape says Kevin MacLeod has released around 2,000 pieces in Creative Commons license. His music is everywhere. If you heard of him, he's a great composer. No, I haven't. You always got to be careful what you release to the general public in various licenses, but because it might end up being commercially used by a third party. Just saying that. All right. That was a lot of great questions there. Thank you for that. And, you know, I hope I could shed some light. I can only shed light on what I think. I cannot shed light on how it is. You know, a lot of people are like, I'm going to tell you how it is. Fuck off, you know. You can only talk about... you can only... And Universal says Avicii was the best ever. That's right. You can only talk about stuff, you know, and a lot of times, you know, people ask me, talk about artists, you know, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about that guy? I'm like, I don't know him. Why would I talk about him? And I'm like, yeah, of course you don't know him, but everybody else talks about him. I'm like, fuck off. I'm not going to talk about anybody who I don't know. Why would I talk about them? I don't know them. Do you think if you are in the music industry and you really think you know somebody from their interviews, you need to stop shitting yourself. That is the dumbest thing, you know. People are vastly different than what they are as a stage personality. I have seen people, greatest thing ever, perform their entire album, do the music, turn around, wave to their fans, get off the stage, say fucking shit music. What a piece of shit I have to do to make money. Come over, go to the VIP area, have a few drinks and listen to completely different music and having a good time with people while their fans were still on stage chanting for them to come back because they felt so strongly disconnected with what they were doing. They hated it. The fans loved it, and they had to do it because they were making money from it, but it was 0% real. But the fans believed it, and this happens a lot. So a lot of people get pigeonholed into something that's successful and then have to perform that all the fucking time, even if they don't want to. And in this case, it was somebody who who was performing... I would say popular music. I'm not going to say where or when. But they liked like electronic and club music more. Why not? But their fans didn't want them to do that or to hear that. They wanted to hear, you know, the nice singing. So, what you think you know from people you see on TV is actually mostly fake. I don't know anybody who is like their persona. Other than like I have to put that into perspective a little bit. Like small artists, indie artists, people like us, people on our label, they're literally the way that they are when you meet them. They don't have a persona yet. But I talk about people that you would know. All the people that you as the general public would know, they're like 25 plus millions invested into them. They have personas. They're not really anything that they say they are. Their hair is fake. Their songs are fake. Their tan is fake. Their teeth are fake. Their entire stories are fake. There's usually not much real in and on them. It's just that the general public doesn't know about it, nor do they care about it. They just want to hear a good story, and good stories sell. So this is why I don't talk about people I don't know, you know? So people are like, yeah, who can you talk about? I'll say I'll talk about the people that I talk to. And I talk to a lot of people that people generally don't think I talk to. And I'll say what happened in the 5 minutes that we met or in the half hour that we met. And I think that is a more real experience than this crappy, what do you think about this artist? I saw his latest interview and he said blah, and then they said blah, and then they said blah. If you know anything about media and interviews, okay, so one time, I'll tell another story if you're interested. One time I was interviewed for an article by Adobe, like the graphics company, like that make like Photoshop and stuff. And they hired a journalist to make an article about one of their products. And since I was in the group, like a closed Facebook group about people that use that product, and they were like, we're looking for people in the music industry using this and this product. You could be featured on one of our articles. And I said, yeah, sure. Why not? So I did a Zoom call with that journalist, I would say for about 2 hours, where I talked a lot about my experience in the music industry and everything, just as you would. I wasn't holding anything back. And the journalist, not saying who it was, had almost nothing to say because they had very, very little knowledge about the music industry, like at all. And they literally kept saying over and over, thank you so much for telling me. Thank you for this. Thank you for all the information. This is so awesome. And I was like, yeah, that's going to be great. They're going to do a great article. And, you know, I'm going to be mentioned positively. And as it happened, I started reading the article, and it's literally everything I said. So they had taken down notes and written down everything I said, but they made it out to be to where that was their knowledge. And in the whole, like, 3-page article, it's like, I would say about 80% was from me. And then they gave me a one-liner that was extremely stupid, featuring other people a lot more prominently than me, probably because they paid or something. So I gave somebody a 3-page article, and they repaid me with a one-liner that was extremely dumb. And that's when I decided I'm not going to work with that journalist ever again. So when you listen to somebody's interview, you listen to somebody's article, you have to understand that in the end, they're cutting and changing it the way that they want it. So unless you're listening to something that is live and uneditable, you're listening to a revised and edited version of something. And they can make you appear smart. They can make you appear dumb. if you take a recording of 2 hours of conversation and you cut the pieces out that you want to cut out, if you just cut all the us and us out and feature them, you're going to sound like you're super retarded. If you take out everything smart they said and cut it together in 2 minutes, you're going to sound super intellectual. So it's really up to the presentation. So you need to be really careful about believing stuff that goes on in the entertainment stuff world. Thanks for taking my energy, Creepy Ape. That is very nice. Minute that says, I want to start a record label because a lot of hot girls want to make it and you get laid a lot. How do you do it? The problem is that generally people see what they think a record label is from like movies and TV shows and from very successful labels that are going overboard with certain things. The reality is that 99% of your typical record labels have none of that glamour, none of that millions, the boats, the yachts, the parties, etc. None of that actually happens. I'm part of the Independent Label Federation in various countries now, actually. And the guys that are running labels are guys like you and me, are people that you would never know that they're not the postman or the baker when you see them in a coffee house. They're 100% normal dudes that have music as their business, and 99.9% of the label runners and people that work in labels aren't rich. They're just normal people. They're some of them are honest, some of them are not, but none of them are crazy rich and do these parties. That is just what sells really well in like reporting. And some labels, some very few labels have that, but most don't. So it's kind of like to say that everybody who has a workshop is drowning in money. It's just simply not true. Some car workshops probably go very well, and they have luxury clients. They make a lot of money, and some of them struggle to survive. And it's the same with labels. And the only thing you have to have when you want to start a label is you need enough money to run the operation for 5 years, and you need to have management experience. And if you have music business experience, it would be great. If you have no management or music business experience and you do not have money to fund yourself for 5 years, you're going to rely on luck. And most people that rely on luck fail. So it just takes a long time to make money, because when you take somebody on board, it's going to take 3 to 5 years for them to return money. Because you're not going to get established artists that make money from the first day. You're going to pick up people that are new, that are not making anything, and you are going to have to bring them to the point where they're making money, and you can get a part of that. So that is a very long process. So most people are saying, the first 3 years are a complete write-off. Then from year 3 to year 6, you're making progress. From year 6 to year 9, you're making good progress. And if you make it to year 10, then you usually have an established record label. But it's nothing that you do on a whim, and it's certainly nothing that will work quickly. Unless you're extremely lucky and you win the lottery and you sign an artist and the next day, he goes viral, but usually doesn't happen. Creepy Ape says, is there any artist who you didn't like, but hearing them live changed your mind? Yeah, Onyx. I was at a Run DMC concert, and Onyx was the starter for Run DMC. And judging them from their recorded material, I didn't like them a lot. And I was always thinking, why is Run DMC touring with Onyx? I was like, I don't know. It It's a relatively unknown band, still is, never made it big. But they were extremely good live. I'm like, what the fuck? How can this be? How can your recorded music be so shitty? And it wasn't shitty. It was just average, okay? But for Run DMC, you're thinking they're going to come with somebody, fucking big. But your live game was so good. And I figured at the time that Onyx was a crew of like live performers, freestylers. These guys are usually really, really great on stage, but they have a really hard time recording in the studio because the recording process is completely different than the whole live performing thing. And I have that again and again and again because a lot of people that come to me to record are like what I call bar musicians or everyday performers. And they've been performing for 20 years, for 30 years, 3, 4, 5 hours every night. So, but the process of entertaining people live is vastly different from the process of recording music. So when I was in the studio with my artist number one, which is Tom Madsen, which is my brother-in-law, he's been a performing musician for many years, and he's a good performing musician, and he's a great entertainer. People hire him all the time. He's always busy because he makes a great show, and people love him. And he plays cover rock music. So this guy lights up every joint that he's in, okay? And he goes into the studio with me, and he plays, and he plays, and he plays, and every time it's wrong, And after 26 times, he says to me, Avi, why do I have to record this guitar part 26 times? And I said, Tom, you don't. You only have to record it once, but correct. And he was like, fuck, take 27. And that's what it is. Great studio musicians have the capability to nail a part on the first go. And in entertaining musicians, performing musicians, that's not needed because while you're jamming the fuck out of your guitar, everybody's screaming at the bar, drinking beer. There's drunk girls dancing and guys are singing some kind of soccer songs. Literally nobody gives a shit if you're one note off, or 2, or 3, or if you're in sync. As long as you're playing the song, you're making a good show, people are entertained, they're going to have a great time. So a lot of these guys are extremely sloppy players. Their rhythm is off, their tones are off, and they just cannot play a part correctly to save their lives. And then you have people like Dire Straits or other people who are studio musicians who are like fucking robots. They'll like go into a studio and they'll just like hammer out every part there is immediately. Bang, 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 bang. No matter how difficult it is, But they usually have the problem that when they go live, they do exactly what they do in the recording studio in a live environment, which means they get out there, they stand there, and they're like bang, 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 bang. Sounds the same like in the recording, but it isn't what people want to see. People want to see different. People want to see engagement. They want to see jumping. They want to see a show and yelling and crazy shit, So being both is really important. And Onyx really changed my mind about them, I would go to see them any day. They're really great. I don't know if they still perform. But that was definitely a turnaround. Alrighty. Man. I don't even know where I left now with the reviewing. Alright, let's reload this. But, there's always a story. All right, Peter Lake. That's right. That's what it was. That guy. I'm like 8 million views on YouTube, 10 million views on Spotify. I just cannot understand it. I cannot understand it, my man. I cannot understand, my man. I can't. Decent effort, exclamation mark. Okay track, but I'm not entirely sure that the vocals work out at all, full stop. All the best and cheers, exclamation mark. I'm not getting it. I'm seriously not getting it. If you have 20 million plays and you sing like, I cannot understand how this would be anything, All right, next one is Ronnie from Germany. Da Ronnie aus Deutschland. Ronnie aus Deutschland schickt euch schöne Grüße. Bussi Baba. All right. As always on the Record Label Boss, if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask. I feel we have a very chill vibe today. And thanks for the great questions, by the way, Creepy Ape and
I wonder why I
and
think of you.
there's some other guy.
I wonder
Rolling
if
Stone was there,
my
and Minute that was there.
feelings are true. 'Cause I think of you,
Because I think of you,
and I care for you.
care for you.
I wonder how
I will do
I'm
how.
gonna live without you.
And Creepy says, thanks, man. Some interesting answers.
But I know that I don't have the right.
Have the right. Okay, that's gonna be a no. Well, they're my answers, I think that everybody you ask is gonna have a different view, but most people you ask will have an uninformed view. I've never seen a business where so many people were talking so much crap because they had no fucking idea and everybody pretends. It's like in the music industry, pretending is literally what people do because it's their job. They pretend to be this person that people like. They, the artist is kind of like acting. And for so many people, it's so inbred that they act privately as well, And they're like always fucking pretend like they know something. And then there's these two types of musicians, The people that are pretty real and say, I don't know that, and the people that always pretend, And the real people really hate the always pretend people. And it's you never know who you got until you talk to them, And then there's some guys who are like, they know everything. Decent effort, exclamation mark. Okay track that stays a little bit simplistic, and the vocals could be improved a little bit, full stop. All the best and cheers, exclamation mark. I did an AMA the other day in some kind of music forum thingy, and literally one person asked the question. That was so interesting, So many people always have like various questions, but I don't know. I don't think a lot of people want the answers. I think a lot of people want the easy answers. And I don't think in music there's easy answers. Ask all the people that have been doing music for 30 years. Ask them how easy it is. Yeah, it's not. And that's the point. But everything that is easy isn't worth anything, dude. If it wouldn't be hard, then it wouldn't be worthwhile. The easy things are generally not worthwhile. This is what I'm always telling myself. You can do it. You can do it. You can go another year. Every year we have more plays. Every year we grow. Man, it's been so difficult, growing from such a tiny... My first year I had 20,000 plays on the label. Second year I had 200,000 plays. Third year, I'm having 2 million, and then I'm having 20 million. And You know, and people are like, yeah, there's artists that have more streams than your label. And I say, that's right. But every year, there's fewer. Every year, there's fewer of them that are bigger than all of us, you know? And, yeah, so far, the goal was to 10x every year. And so far, we've did it. Every year, we've been 10 times bigger than the year before. But it's super difficult to grow and very, very demanding. Nothing that I would suggest to the faint of heart. And a lot of labels get stuck in that. Okay, so if you want to know, I'll one more story. A lot of labels aren't really labels because they get stuck in the things which you can make quick money with, and that's producing artists that pay you for it. So a lot of people are so desperate for money while they're young labels that they start taking in artists who they produce for money. So they will say to the guy, I'm a great producer. I will produce, publish, distribute everything for you. You give me 10 grand and I'll make an album with you and your band. In theory, that sounds really great because you're going to get 10 grand. You're going to get to work. You're going to put out music. Usually you own a little bit part of it. But then you do it again and then you do it again. And all of a sudden, all you're doing is producing people for money. And you're neglecting the business that you should be doing, which is to be a user of music rights, a monetizer of content, an advertiser, a networker, many different things, but you should not be producing people for money as a label. And I know a lot of labels that do exactly that because they have an easier time getting to artists when they say they're a label. Because if you're a studio owner or a producer, everybody knows that they have to pay you. But I know a lot of them that are just producers that have just made a small company and said, hey, I'm a record label now. And this has given them the clout, you know, that people are now coming to them and then they can sell them their production models, which are you pay me and I do stuff. So I wouldn't say a friend, but the guy that I know that does nothing else but that. He's got like 10 to 20 clients, produces every one of them 10 grand a year. So he makes like 150, but of course he has costs also. And I was talking with him, what do you do in publishing? What do you do in distribution? What kind of networking do you have? You know, what are your projects? What are your channels? How do you do? And I find out this guy has like a label only in name. He's actually just some guy that makes himself look like a label so that people hire him to produce music. So when you're starting a label, don't get caught in the stuff that's not label business. Because people will ask you to do it, but don't. It's not your thing. People always ask me to get into their music production. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Produce your own music, hire somebody, I don't care. And they're like, yeah, but you're a producer. I'm like, yes, I'm a producer, but I'm only here to curate your stuff. I'm going to tell you what goes on the record and what doesn't, but it's not my job to produce your music. That's the job of a producer. Yeah, but you could be producing music. And I said, yeah, I could. And then I could literally stop having a label and I just would be a producer. So I'm not a fireman. I'm the superintendent. I don't go and, do every single fire myself. But a lot of people get stuck there because they're like, they can't figure out how to make money as a label because it's super difficult. And Creepy Ape says, if a big label offers you to buy out for a huge amount of money, what would be your answer? Will it be up to you? Yeah. I own everything. And the answer will be a high number. Then I will say thank you, and I will turn around and make another label. Why wouldn't I? I know the contracts that my artists have, and they're not difficult to get out of. So the worst thing I would do to them would be to subject them to a bigger label for 2 to 3 years, maybe at the very most. And if they would be happy with the bigger label, they could stay there. And if they would not be happy, they could then switch to me. Even if the bigger label would give you the non-competitive clause, you're not allowed to blah blah, I don't give a shit, then my friend or my wife or my daughter, somebody would start the label, and it would still be me, but officially it wouldn't be me. It's actually very easy to get out of. So I would still be an entrepreneur. That is the question. But I would definitely sell to somebody if they offered enough money, because why not? Especially label is completely tied to the person. The label without its staff or its like principal person, its network, is only really its contracts and it's the songs that it owns. So you're buying a catalog, okay, and you're buying some contracts. I already said how the contracts are. People can get out. It's really not a problem. And the catalog would be sold, but I would definitely compensate my artists. I would say, hey, you know what? 3 years from now, you come to me, and you all get a signing bonus. You all get a new house. But of course, that only makes sense if somebody pays an enormous amount of money, and that is usually an enormous amount of money. So, realistically, is that going to happen? I don't think so. I cannot see that happening in my lifetime. But everybody has a price. It's just a matter of number. Because, if somebody were to pay me a very large amount, I could start over with absolutely no problem. The next day, I would have people calling me saying, hey, I want to be on your new label, and I want to work with you, because it's all about the person. So usually what they do, and I have to paraphrase that a little bit, is that they give you a contract to where they say that you as the label runner, as the principal, whatever you call it, president, whatnot, have to stay in the label for at least X amount of years, during which time you are going to be the CEO and you are going to be drawing a salary outside of your share sell. So you'll be selling the shares, and they'll bring you on board with a salary. And when they are confident enough that they don't need you anymore, then usually you can leave. But it really depends. It could be, for example, that a larger company acquires you and then offers you a job higher up in the corporate hierarchy, like above your label, to be, for example, head of Europe or something. Because if you're a seasoned manager in the music industry, they also could use you in a different capacity. That might be interesting. So it really depends. I just had a lot of negative experience with corporate acquisitions because I was in M&A, mergers and acquisitions, for over 10 years. And usually the people that get bought at the very end aren't really happy with the acquisition, because corporate culture is always different. I've never seen an acquisition to where people were really enthusiastic and happy that they got acquired, and the new owners were really nice, and everything was good, more often than not, they just didn't work out with each other, and then reintegrated them, which means they usually crushed the new acquisition after a while, integrated it, And then everything that new company was going to bring to the table was kind of like completely lost. Because when you just take these 10, 20, whatever guys and put them in a large corporate structure of a few thousand people, nothing's going to happen. So the spark is usually lost. And then they're like, yeah, whatever, 5 years later, nobody cares. The CEOs have changed 4 times. And meanwhile, nobody gives a shit. So corporate acquisitions usually end with the small guy being dissolved. Or they're being left as a vanity label. A certain name under Sony, a certain name under Warner, a certain name under whatnot. So officially they still have their own name and their own company, but they have absolutely no independence. They're essentially just employees like everybody else, just that they get to wear a t-shirt that says XYZ Records, Whoops. Tail. Attention, Tail is in the house. Ringo, what's up? His name is Ringo Starr. Okay, he's gonna sit here. Well, I don't have to touch the tablet anymore. You're gonna get to. Ringo is the new host. Yeah, he's gonna host it from now on. He's gonna be hostus mostus. That's what he's gonna do. And Xay says, "Are you an off-brand?" Which isn't good. If you are, I'm not entirely sure what that means. But if you explain it to me, I'll try to answer. Because a lot of times people like ask me questions, I don't know what they mean. And I'm not the guy who wants to, the tail. Dude. He wants to wiggle his tail. He always wants to wiggle his tail. So yeah, I thought about it, but I talked to a friend of mine, actually a former colleague, and she's in like funding startup, this kind of stuff. And she said to me, if you can bootstrap it, if you cannot take money from somebody else, anyway, then never take money from anybody else. She said, I've seen so many companies go to shits because they took money from somebody else. And then this guy comes in, and then this guy comes in, and then they have 3 investors, and every investor wants something else, and they start fighting, and everybody starts interfering. The original vision is completely lost. It's all about who gets what money back, when and where, in the shares. And she said, after 10 years of being in startup funding, the best advice I can give to you is, if you do not absolutely have to, do not take somebody else's money. And I said, yeah, but you could grow. And she said to me, what do you want in life? Do you need to be a billionaire, or do you want to have your own company and be happy? And I said, I want to have my own company and be happy. And she said, well, then you don't need to grow. You don't need to scale up. You don't need to be Amazon. You just need to have a company that works for you and your staff and your artists. And that's it. And for that, you don't need investor money. You just do it by yourself. You're probably not going to be the biggest label in the world. But if that isn't what you're trying to do anyway, then why take money? And still, the most of the people that take money fail. It's just that, out of 100 investment, one becomes really, really big, which is okay for the investor. But the 99 guys that made startups and failed, and their company is now gone, even though the investor put money in, because once you do that, you cannot turn. Hold on, I'll turn some music on here. You cannot turn back, because once you start burning money, and everybody's like, how much are you burning? A mil a month. How much are you burning? 500 a month, meaning like, how much money are you spending and not making back every month? and you can count on the calendar the time until the company is bankrupt. So what they do is they hire a lot of people. They put in managers, they put in marketers, they put in salespeople. All very good things, but a lot more than the company could ever afford, trying to grow the company before it dies. And there you start a race against the clock. You have XYZ amount of time to reach a certain goal of growth, or your company will be terminated. And from then on, you're always racing against the clock. And if you want to do that for the rest of your life, that's great. You know, eventually you'll be Jeff Bezos, and you'll have lots of money, but you'll have spent 20 years chasing, you know, always one step away from bankruptcy. Or you're like Elon Musk, and you had a father who was rich, who gives you money. Same with Bezos, by the way. And then you have a lucky sale of a crappy company to somebody else, and then you have a lucky sale of another crappy company, and you have 500 million in cash laying around that you can put into the company so it doesn't go bankrupt. But once you take the money, there's no turning back. You're then playing a 1 in 100 game of chance of being either extremely rich or losing everything. And I'm not going to play a 1 in 100 game to become extremely rich, because the odds are stupid. And I don't want to be extremely rich. I don't need that. I want to be happy, not extremely rich. My goals are vastly different than these people who all seem to have massive self-esteem issues, because they're all like compulsively dick size comparing themselves to everybody else. A lot of them have severe problems with self-esteem. That's all I can gather from the way that they behave. Yeah. All right. So Xay didn't say anything about what he means. Yeah. So I can't answer it. You can see Ringo. I would like to show more of Ringo, but he's not in the right angle. It's funny, you know. To me, he is really big here, but he's under the camera, so you can't see him. So Ringo, what's up? You gonna leave the set? Nope. He's looking at the control monitor of me. And he's looking at me at the monitor. Not me as a person, but me at the monitor. Alright, so that was a very interesting day today on Arpan, with a lot of questions about the music industry and life in general. But I think those things are interesting. Here's your promotional credit from your Amazon order. What? I don't even know what these people are saying. I get so much crap. It is so amazing. Everything I have to do. Gratulation. Oh my god. The crap you get. You reached many views on your YouTube channel. That is good. Chanel, okay. Yeah. I think working in and around music is a good thing. There's my song Good Times, by the way. Did that with René Luengo together. It was like in three countries charts. My most successful song so far. How about that tail? How about you don't put the tail on Papa's mouse? How about it? How about we take the tail and put it somewhere else? Not exactly where the mouse is. You're crazy. He puts the tail on the mouse and starts moving it right back, left and right, you know. Yep, so nah. Don't push buttons on the mixer. Don't push buttons on the mixer. It's not okay. You're not the DJ. You're not the DJ. You're a cat. That's something else. You hunt mice. It's the little animals with the ears. You're not David Guetta. No. No cocaine for you. He doesn't understand. Okay. The tail has to wag. He's like a fucking dog. Okay, so I wanted to say one more thing for today. Now you're making the song. Now you're making the sound disappear. No. Go. Get off here. Get off here. Get off here. Get off here. Off. Ringo? Shush. Okay. So, usually when people come on to us, I say to them, if you want to join us, I can't make you rich, but I'm gonna make you happy. And that is really my goal. My goal for the label and for its artists is that they have a decent income from their art, and that they're treated well, and that they're happy, and that we all have a good time. I'm absolutely not going to do every unethical thing that you could possibly do in order to make as much money as possible. It's just not what I want to do. I'm not interested in that. And I think this is the way you should approach music. If you really love music, then you should become a musician. If you want to be famous, then do something else, please. Your chances of becoming famous in music are lower than becoming famous in pretty much anything else. I know that sounds weird now, but the success chance in music, both in terms of investment and in terms of becoming famous or getting notoriety, etc., are lower than in any other industry. You're quite literally more likely to win a Nobel Prize in science than to become a famous musician. And in no other industry, the odds are stacked against you so much, because most of the people that become famous musicians come from a family of people that are already very well established musicians and have money. So if you're just really by yourself, and your father's not a producer, and your mother is not a TV network executive, and you don't have 10 million to spare, music is going to be a really difficult game for you. Because what a lot of people don't tell you is that a lot of the kids that make it out there are people with money and influence, usually both. If you look at Billboard, you'll be able to pick out the few individuals that did not come from money and influence. So if you want to be a musician, do it because you want to be happy, and don't do it because you want to be rich or famous. And your life will be a lot better. Behind me, by the way, those are drone shots from Croatia. We started our label in Croatia. Now we have locations in Austria, in the United States, in the UK. And we are in Are we on all continents? Hold on. No, we're not in Asia. And we're not in Australia. Oceania. Yeah, that's right. Russia either. So we're literally just in 2 continents. Yeah. North America and Europe. Okay. And UK, if you count that as, I don't know what that is. Part of Europe. That's right. So yeah, every year in the summer we gather in Croatia and have some fun there, or at least we plan on starting that tradition. It's been really difficult with COVID because so many things that we had planned for the label kind of like fell through, because for years we couldn't do this or that or this or that. So festivals, gatherings, artist workshops, all kinds of stuff wasn't done because of COVID, you know. But on the other side, I have to say that I wouldn't be streaming if that wouldn't have happened. I don't think I'd ever have started streaming or have started a online show or anything like what I'm doing now. I'm becoming like a TV professional, if you're asking me. Sometimes, you know, I think when people ask me what's your job, I should say I'm like a fucking news anchor or something. If you take the time together that I do streaming, you know, 3 times every week with setup and teardown, 2 to 3 hours of streaming, and then an hour of setup and half an hour of teardown. So you got like 5 hours. You got 15 hours a week, just for that. And then I produce Max Beauty, another 10 hours. So I'm doing like 25 hours a week streaming. Oh, like, what the? Oh my god, the cat hair. Cat hair everywhere and no water. Water's over there at the table, damn it. So yeah. We've all turned to the digital realm to connect with fans, to connect with interested people, and to reach out and to build a community. And from this, a lot of people that are now on our Discord or that are holding various positions at the label were once just watchers of this stream, you know? A lot of people have volunteered to help us. A lot of people have came in and do various things at the label now because they feel that we kind of like share their vision or it's something cool they want to do. And the way that we connected with them was streaming. I also did not think that was going to happen. I thought I was going to reach out to fans that would want to hear some music, etc., you know? That really didn't happen. But what did happen that we found wonderful people like, you know, Yo-Yo and Lottie and Foxy and I don't know, CIG and everybody else who's now somebody at the label through streaming. Hey Giselle, how you doing? Haven't talked with you in a while. Gisela Fesh is one of our artists. She's watching on YouTube. She's probably like, he's saying my name. I know that she's in Brazil, I think. And, you know, situation in South America is also difficult. Last I heard, at least. We have... How many South American artists do we have? We have Cygnus and we have Giselle. I think that's the only 2. So... We're all waiting for COVID to go away so we can start, you know, so we can start our normal circuit again. So we can perform, we can do shows. I can at least try to make my festival. I was already in a good spot for organizing a festival in Eastern Europe. And then the worst things happened. COVID happened and one of the people that I wanted to do it with died. And I was like, what the fuck? That was so crazy, you know? So I'm really, really ready for all of this to be over. So we can resume doing what we love, and that is going out and entertaining people. Even myself, I'm planning I don't know, some kind of tour with CIG, and we're bringing Muty. We're bringing Muty as our water boy. But I think that's gonna be fire because CIG has a lot of really good material. And I do too. So if we pool our best material, we're gonna have a pretty good set between the two of us. I think it's gonna be good. So he was really enthusiastic about that, you know. I didn't think that I was ever gonna say I'm gonna perform somewhere ever again in my life. But, you know, sitting at home by yourself for 3 years is gonna be like, yeah, you should probably totally do that, you know. So, you know, maybe we're gonna do some kind of summer EDM tour in 23 or 24. I don't even know. That would be good, you know. It's something that you always want to do, and on our label, the thing is that everybody's an artist, and it kind of like makes things easier because everybody understands the basics, and you don't have this chasm between the performers and the managers, because the managers are former performers or still performers. I think there's a lot more understanding for the standpoint of each other when you have been there. You know, it's kind of like in the army. Everybody likes an officer who started as an enlisted man because they know what's up. You know, nobody likes an officer who's literally never been anything else in the army other than an officer. You know, people that just go from school straight to officer and blah, blah, blah. But the people who, like, get in as an enlisted man and then, you know, NCO, and then they make a course, become officer or something, that's usually the people that everybody likes the most because they know everything from the ground up. And it's the same way that I feel about management of artists. If you want to effectively manage an artist, you should probably have a little bit of an understanding of what it is that they actually feel, or why sometimes they snap at you, or why sometimes they don't do this or that. It's just easier if you've been there and if you have the experience to understand what the other side thinks, you know. So if you want to come and join us on our Discord, it's discord.gg/CZR. I'm not sure. Hold on, I'll drop it in Reddit. Any one of you is interested. Because we do give free advice to new musicians. We do listen to their demos and we do tell them what we think of it. We engage with everybody, no matter how big or small they are. And we offer a place for musicians to hang out, and if you're good enough to come on board as an artist, and if not, it's a place of learning and having good time. For me, it was about community building, because everybody starts somewhere, and while you cannot personally carry them across the finish line, sometimes some good advice, like I recently got for 3D printing, can help you a lot, you know, from somebody that really knows what's going on, because there's so many people out there giving fake advice, people that have literally never done anything in the industry, like, at all, and they're out there selling courses and selling their weird opinions about about everything, you know. I always say that one example, which I'm not going to say now because I say it every time. But, you know, Spotify is not going to pay you a lot of money for 1 million streams. That's for sure. So if you want to build your career on having a lot of streams on Spotify, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Because nowadays only 6% of a typical artist's income come from music royalties, and that is everything together. That's not only Spotify but everything else. So your income on Spotify should only be about 3% of your total income, and now you can think about what you're gonna have to do that, you know. So the idea, or let's say it otherwise, there is less than 10,000 people in the world can live off their music royalties. Out of 5 million performing artists, out of 5 million releasing artists, only 10,000 can live from their music royalties. And that is a very, 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 very small amount of people. All right, guys. I think that is it for today. Thanks for the wonderful questions that we had. We listened to all the music on Groover. We have more, but I figured I was going to answer some questions, especially since today's RPen Day. If you want to join us on our Discord, that's discord.gg/CZR. If you want to check us out at CountZeroRecords.com, that's also cool. You can subscribe to my Twitch channel, then you get alerted every time the stream is on. That's twitch.tv/recordlabelboss. My name is Avio. If you want to put it in Google, you'll find it. If you want to put Count Zero Records into Google, you'll also find it. We have a wonderful YouTube channel with a lot of stuff that's free, and we have a wonderful app where you can play all of our music for free, because we want to promote our music for free. And shit, Spotify isn't paying us, so why shouldn't we give away our music for free as well? So if you download our app, you can play all of our music for free from within the app. And, you can go running and jogging and play music. What's better than that? Thank you so much for being here. To Giselle, to Meg, to Yomim, to Foxy, to Lottie, and to everybody else who's been on here. To Creepy Ape, who always has wonderful questions. Universal, Davani, who was from the 3D printing stream. Rolling Stone, and everybody else who's been asking questions. I will be back Friday, in 2 days, at 2000 Central European Time with another record label boss with some more music and some more questions and talk about the music industry. I hope you are going to have a wonderful rest of the week. I'm certainly going to try to have one. And thank you for being here, and I will see you on Friday, 2000 Central European Time, record label boss with your boy Avio.
It's not time to go home yet. Just stay with me for a moment. I never thought I'd find what I was looking for, but this feeling can't afford to leave. I came here with a 20 in my pocket. Didn't want to stay too long, I knew that I would drop it. Check myself out in the reflection of a liquor bottle. Saw a real sad girl, a big pill to swallow, yeah.